such a state, then you are honest. If not, the temptation of your soul is bound to make you dishonest. This applies to the king and the peasant alike. All peoples are struggling to blast their way through the industrial monopoly of races and nations, but the Negro as a whole has failed to grasp its true significance and seems to delight in filling only that place created for him by the white man. The Negro who lives on the patronage of philanthropists is the most dangerous member of our society because he is willing to turn back the clock of progress when his benefactors ask him so to do. No race in the world is so just as to give others, for the asking, a square deal in things economic, political, and social. Men who are in earnest are not afraid of consequences. No one knows when the hour of Africa's redemption cometh. It is in the wind. It is coming. One day, like a storm, it will be here. When that day comes, all Africa will stand together. Any sane man, race, or nation that desires freedom must first of all think in terms of blood. Why? Even the Heavenly Father tells us that without the shedding of blood, there can be no remission of sins. Then how in the name of God, with history before us, do we expect to redeem Africa without preparing ourselves, some of us to die? I pray God that we shall never use our physical prowess to oppress the human race, but we will use our strength, physically, morally, and otherwise, to preserve humanity and civilization. For over 300 years, the white man has been our oppressor, and he naturally is not going to liberate us to the higher freedom, the truer liberty, and the truer democracy. We have to liberate ourselves. Every man has a right to his own opinion. Every race has a right to its own action. Therefore, let no man persuade you against your will. Let no race influence you against your own. The greatest weapon against the Negro is disorganization. If you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. At no time within the last 500 years can one point to a single instance of the Negro as a race of haters. The Negro has loved even under severest punishment. In slavery, the Negro loved his master. He safeguarded his home, even when he further planned to enslave him. We are not a race of haters, but lovers of humanity's cause. Mob violence and injustice have never helped a race or a nation, and because of this knowledge, as gathered from the events of ages, we as a people in this new age desire to love all mankind, not in the social sense, but in keeping with the divine injunction, man, love thy brother. Preparedness is the watchword of this age, for us as a race to remain, as we have been in the past, divided among ourselves, parochializing, insularizing, and nationalizing our activities as subjects and citizens of the many alien races and governments under which we live, is but to hold ourselves in readiness for that great catastrophe that is bound to come, that of racial extermination at the hands of the stronger race, the race that will be fit to survive. Humanity takes revenging crime from one age to the next, according to the growth and development of the race so afflicted. But the perpetuation of crime through revenge and retaliation will not save the human race. Europe is bankrupt today, and every nation within her bounds is endeavoring to find new openings, new fields for exploitation. That exploitation that will bring to them the resources, the revenue, and the power necessary for their rehabilitation and well-being. We are living in a strenuous, active age when men see, not through the spectacles of sympathy, but demand that each and every one measures up in proportion to the world's demand for service. The attitude of the white race is to subjugate, to exploit, and if necessary, exterminate the weaker peoples with whom they come in contact. They subjugate first. If the weaker peoples will stand for it, then exploit. And if they will not stand for subjugation nor exploitation, the other recourse is extermination. If the Negro is not careful, he will drink in all the poison of modern civilization and die from the effects of it. There can be no peace among men and nations so long as the strong continues to oppress the weak, so long as injustice is done to other peoples. Just so long will we have cause for war and make a lasting peace an impossibility. Hungry men have no respect for law, authority, or human life. I am not opposed to the white race as charged by my enemies. I have no time to hate anyone. All my time is devoted to the upbuilding and development of the Negro race. When nations outgrow their national limits, they make war and conquer other people's territory so as to have an outlet for their surplus populations. The world does not count races and nations that have nothing. Point me to a weak nation, and I will show you a people oppressed, abused, taken advantage of by others. Show me a weak race, and I will show you a people reduced to serfdom, peonage, and slavery. Show me a well-organized nation, and I will show you a people and a nation respected by the world. The battles of the future, whether they be physical or mental, will be fought on scientific lines, and the race that is able to produce the highest scientific development is the race that will ultimately rule. Let us prepare today, for the tomorrows in the lives of the nations will be so eventful that Negroes everywhere will be called upon to play their part in the survival of the fittest human group. Let us, in shaping our own destiny, set before us the qualities of human justice, love, charity, mercy, and equity. Upon such foundation, let us build a race, and I feel that the God who is divine, the almighty creator of the world, shall forever bless this race of ours, and who to tell that we shall not teach men the way of life, liberty, and true happiness. Day by day we hear the cry of Africa for the Africans. This cry has become a positive, determined one. It is a cry that is raised simultaneously the world over because of the universal oppression that affects the Negro. All of us may not live to see the higher accomplishment of an African empire, so strong and powerful as to compel the respect of mankind, but we, in our lifetime, can so work and act as to make the dream a possibility within another generation. Chapter 2. Propaganda. We are living in a civilization that is highly developed. We are living in a world that is scientifically arranged, in which everything done by those who control is done through system, proper arrangement, proper organization, and among some of the organized methods used to control the world is the thing known and called propaganda. Propaganda has done more to defeat the good intentions of races and nations than even open warfare. Propaganda is a method or medium used by organized peoples to convert others against their will. We of the Negro race are suffering more than any other race in the world from propaganda. Propaganda to destroy our hopes, our ambitions, and our confidence in self. Slavery. Slavery is a condition imposed upon individuals or races not sufficiently able to protect or defend themselves. And so long as a race or people expose themselves to the danger of being weak, no one can tell when they will be reduced to slavery. When a man is a slave, he has no liberty of action, no freedom of will. He is bound and controlled by the will and act of others, as of the individual, so of the race. Slavery is not a condition confined to any age or race of people. Slavery has been since man, in the different distribution of himself, scattered here, there, and everywhere, has grown and developed, wherein one race will become strong and the other race remains weak.